This law aims to achieve absolute self-sufficiency in staple grains and food production. It holds central and provincial governments accountable for incorporating food security into their economic and development plans, including protecting farmland from conversion to other uses. The impact of these policy changes on U.S. agriculture has been profound. The U.S. Department of Agriculture projects a record $42.5 billion agricultural trade deficit in 2025. This deficit represents a dramatic reversal from America's traditional position as a global agricultural leader. The decline in U.S. agricultural exports to China is particularly evident in key commodities. Corn exports to China sank 71% through September 2023, while soybean exports dropped 13%. These declines have hit U.S. farmers hard, with soybean futures trading near four-year lows amid intense competition from Brazil. Brazil has emerged as the primary beneficiary of China's shift away from U.S. agricultural imports. In 2023, just 1 year after Beijing approved purchases from the South American agricultural powerhouse, Brazil overtook the U.S. as China's top corn supplier. Brazil's share of China's soybean imports has grown from 46% in 2016 to 76% in 2024. The economic impact on U.S. farmers and rural communities has been severe. Recent studies by the National Corn Growers Association and the American Soybean Association project annual losses ranging from $3.6 to $5.9 billion in soybean production value and $0.9 to $1.4 billion in corn losses. Soybean prices have dropped $0.6 to $1.0 per bushel, while corn prices fell $0.08 to $0.13 per bushel below baseline levels. Mark Tuttle, a soybean farmer in northern Illinois, voices the growing alarm among U.S. farmers. "We are very concerned. We are not the only soybean producer in the world. South America is producing an awful lot of soybeans. If we were to institute more tariffs, that would be very detrimental to our situation." The agricultural landscape is literally shrinking, with projections showing a reduction of 1.3 to 2.2 million acres in U.S. soybean cultivation. This contraction ripples through rural communities, affecting everything from equipment sales to transportation services. Deere & Company reports decreased demand for tractors and combines, while rural transportation companies face reduced shipping volumes. Despite these challenges, U.S. farmers continue to support Trump, even as his proposed trade policies threaten to exacerbate their economic woes. Trump, who beat Democratic Vice President Kamala Harris in the recent presidential election, has vowed to impose a 60% tariff on Chinese goods and at least a 10% levy on all other imports in his second term.
I will impose whatever tariffs are required, 100%, 200%, 1,000%. They're not going to sell one car into the United States.
The concern in Washington is that the electric vehicles and some of the software behind them would be able to collect personal information and perhaps share it with the Chinese government, or at least with the companies that are involved in making those vehicles.
It's the kind of rhetoric Beijing has vehemently rejected.
中国将继续坚定维护本国企业的正当合法权益。我们也支持中国企业依法维护自身权益。
So, have two U.S. administrations hindered China in ways Trump initially intended?
Jay O'Neill, a grain industry consultant and former economist at Kansas State University, said, "I think it's terribly naive of anyone to think that the election of Trump and the Republican Party will be positive for agriculture. China's strategic planning extends beyond reducing imports from the U.S.